Without a doubt, we feel highly honored, and we are really very happy, and we appreciate the entire kingdom, everyone that celebrated with us yesterday. Most particularly, we appreciate the Oba of Osi Ekiti, the Olosi of Osi, Oba Barrister Sir Steve Adegboyega Alabi, and the entire Afobajes and the Oloyes. We thank them. We are most grateful for the honor bestowed on us as a servant, to become a servant, because a leadership position in actual reality is a servant position. So we appreciate, we thank the entire community for giving us the opportunity to serve the king, to serve the kingdom. We are most grateful. We feel highly honored.
All right, so what are your roles as the new Mayegun? What is expected of you, sir?
Well, once again, my name is Aare Mayegun Olumide Adeyemi of Osi Ekiti in Ido's local government. So, and by that, you will know we are Yoruba people. And by the meaning of that name, Mayegun, Mayegun Atayeshe is also as synonymous with the word Atayeshe, the ones that organizes, the one that makes things right, the one that makes sure that everything is at peace, the one that makes sure that everything works well. Not a perfectionist, but an organizer, the one that works with the king to ensure that there is peace and tranquility in the kingdom. The roles are very diverse, very diverse. It's not limited to just one particular role. So Mayegun, ẹni tó ń mú ayé gún, tó ń mú nǹkan, tó ń jẹ́ kí nǹkan tòrò, tó fẹ́ ìlọsíwájú, tó fẹ́ ìdàgbàsókè ìlú, tó fẹ́ ìgbéga fún ìlú, tó ń fẹ́ ayọ̀ àti ìdùnnú fún àwọn ènìyàn ẹ̀, tó fẹ́ kí nǹkan tí ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó, tó ń gbìyànjú bó ṣe máa tó fún àwọn ará ìlú ẹ̀ àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń yíká. That is the meaning of Mayegun. So it's very deep, very, very deep, very, very deep. So myself and my wife will be working alongside with the king, the Kabiyesi Olosi of Osi, and the entire chieftaincy, the high chiefs, the Afobajes. We'll be working alongside with them to ensure that there is peace and progress in the town.
All right, sir. Undoubtedly, you're one of the proud sons of Osi Ekiti, according to the king even yesterday. Can you shed light on your background? Let's talk about you, where you started from, and where you are today.
Thank you. My name is Olumide Adeyemi once again. I was born over 50 years ago in Osi Ekiti, to the family of late Honorable Chief Peter Folayan Adeyemi, and the late, my father died 10 years ago now, and then my mother died 42 years ago. Her name is Mrs. Florence Titilayo Apanishile Adeyemi. My mother is from Ekiti, so I'm a full-blooded Ekiti man. So I started my early primary education in Ikere. Both of my parents are teachers, and they rose to the top of their career as principals and headmistresses in their various careers. So, and as a principal, you move from one school to another. They move them constantly to work in various schools. So, and when my parents are transferred, you move with them. So I went to so many schools in Ekiti, in Oyo State, all over the place. So we moved around, like almost like every 2-3 years, So I schooled in a lot of places. Sometimes in 1 year, I repeat the same class or the same level, the same year in different schools. In Ekiti, Ikere Ekiti, Akure, Ibadan. It's been a long time now, over 50 years ago, so I can't remember all these schools. And after my primary education, my primary education is the most unstable. That's when we had to move from various places, So after my primary education, which ended in 1983, 82, 83, I started my secondary school education, and I went to different schools as well in Ekiti, in Osi Ekiti, in Ado Ekiti. So I went to Osi Community High School. I went to Egirioke High School. I went to Christ School, Ado Ekiti, for my A levels. After my living cert, I had my living cert in 1986, 87. I had my living cert, 87 in Osi Community High School. And from there, I proceeded to Christ School, Ado Ekiti, where I had my A levels. And after that, I gained admission to the then Ondo State University, that is now known as Ekiti State University, where I studied banking and finance. And I graduated with great, good honors, degrees in banking and finance in 1993-94. So I had my youth corps, and I started my career in banking. That was then Owena Bank, Nigeria Limited, in Victoria Island at the head office in engineering close, Victoria Island, under the then managing director, Segun Agbetuye. Then from there, I went into, after I had a stint in the banking industry, and I moved on to accountancy firm to get trained as an accountant, professional accountant. So I worked with a firm called Paul Taiwo and Co. in the consultancy section. And just about the time when I joined the Paul Taiwo and Co., we got a federal government a project to work alongside with the Nigeria Customs Service. That was in 1995, 96, I can't remember now. So we worked alongside with the Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigerian Port Authority. So the project at that time had to do with import duty administration, to see how we can help the federal government of Nigeria, the central bank, and the Federal Ministry of Finance to improve the revenue collection of the Nigeria Customs Service. And then I served in the Lily Pond Port, Apapa, then moved on to the Nigeria Port, NPA, Apapa Wharf. And again, from there, I worked in the Tinkan Island. So I worked in various sections, and we were very successful. We worked very hard, and the revenue coming in, the import duty revenue coming in was improved. It improved that drastically, and it rose by, if I remember now, it rose by about I think about 60%, more than what it used to be. So the project was quite very successful. So my unit at that time was called Professional Import Duty Administration Administrator, PIDA, PIDA, Professional Import Duty Administrators. And I made so many friends at that time with all the operators in the port, the customs service, the NPA, the members of the clearing, Nigeria Clearing Association groups. And after then, I moved on, because the insight I had into port operations, it gave me a motivation to start my own business. So I started my own business. I set up a clearing and forwarding agency, and I started to operate my business. I've always been business minded though, because while I was in the university as a student, I was also doing business. I'd always wanted to do business. So while I was in university, I was going to Cotonou. While we were on holidays, I go to the Republic of Benin. I buy shoes, I buy clothes, fashion accessories generally. I sell in school. So I've always have the love, to do business, to do something of my own. So I started my agency, and it was quite successful. within a short time, I had so many clients, and by the grace of God, we did very well. But my major operating port at that time was the Tinkan Island port in Tinkan. And we also work in the Apapa port and the Calabar, Port Harcourt, and other ports and border. So my business operation, spans all over the Nigerian port, And I'm indeed very grateful for that experience because it was the first biggest business experience I had, And then from then on, uh, some opportunities came as regards my family because I was newly married at that time. That was way back in around 2001. So I got married, and I started to think about setting up my family. So some ideas came, and we decided to see what opportunities are out there to create a better opportunity for my children. So that propelled us to move ahead, and we relocated to the Republic of Ireland. As a matter of fact, I didn't intend to stay back in Ireland for long. I only intended to relocate my family, and my plan at that time was to be shuttling between Nigeria and the United Kingdom and Republic of Ireland. But as fate will have it, I stayed back a long time, So since then, I've been living in the Republic of Ireland, and I went back to start a business in a new country. It could be very, very challenging. As a newcomer, you are in a new terrain, so you really have to study the system very well before you do what you really love to do. And then what I actually really love to do is business, So, but then I had to gain the experience first to understand what's going on in the country. So I became an employee again, I went back to a paid job. So I worked in finance, and I worked in so many companies, and for a very long time. So I was doing that, working in this company and that company in finance, in various roles in finance. And at the moment, in the last few years, I moved into financial services. So that's where I am at the moment. Now I work in a global financial services firm in Ireland. And at the same time, I have my private business, which I do by the side. I have a company in Nigeria, the same company that I had when I left Nigeria. So the company is still running. So now we are into real estate. We are into so many things. We are into charity. We have a charity arm of the company. We are into real estate. We are into. My wife is into fashion. She brings stuff from all over the world. We are also into educational consultancy, local and abroad. If you want to study abroad, we advise people on the visa processing and all that. So that's where we are at the moment. And again, we set up a foundation uh, 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 to project the legacies that our father left behind, Chief Honorable Peter Folayan Adeyemi. So we had a foundation to honor his memory and the memory of my mother as well. So through that foundation, we have been able to contribute in our little way to my community and to some other communities in Africa. By the grace of God, we have we have some young people that are benefiting from us in other countries. And we are still hoping that God, in His mercy, will help us to do more globally in my local community and nationwide and international.
All right.
I will say one thing that I will say I learned about life is never give up on anything you love to do. Life itself is not a bed of roses. There will always be challenges, but what you need It's a patience. You need to be patient. Do not run faster than your legs. Be patient. Be factual. Be realistic. You know, and then be respectful of others. Respect other people. Do unto other people as you want them to do unto you. And as much as possible, make more friends than enemies. Be a man of peace. Be a person of peace. Be very peaceful. Be very, very peaceful. Be polite. Be polite. Be kind to people. So whatever you give to the universe will give back to you. So as much as possible, keep doing your best. It is hard, it is tough, it is difficult, but at all times, try to remember where you come from. Never forget your background, never forget where you come from, and keep forging ahead.
Okay, so would you say your background actually prepared you for this greatness?
Oh, yes. If you remember back a few minutes ago when I was talking, I mentioned that my father, late Chief Honorable Peter Folayan Adeyemi, was a principal, and my mother also was a teacher. And you know, back in the days in Yoruba land, in Nigeria generally, when you are teachers and principals, they are always very strict. My father is a very strict person, and the same my mother, very strict person. They brought us up very, very well. And at that time, looking back now, you would think they are very hard on you. They are not hard on you. I always reflect on all the lessons and trainings and knowledge that I get from my father. He will call me. He say, you start to say some things to me. And at that age, to be honest, it looked like, you know, but subconsciously, those things, they are building up my character. And I draw from that well of knowledge, of wisdom that he was giving us at that time. My father taught me how to iron clothes properly. He dresses very well, you know, he's a man of fashion and style. The same my mother. They dresses very well, they look very well, they try to, you know, look good at all times. So even though my mother died early, you know, but my father is very organized, a very organized person. And I learned that from him. He's very methodical, you know, very, very methodical. He taught me how to wash cars. He will wash his car. In fact, he has a toothbrush. Toothbrush. Those two, that's the clever toothbrush. Show these tiny grooves. You know where the AC vent. In these places, you use brush. The running board, the steering, no, that's what you have to do. His shoes, he taught me how to polish shoes, how to clean it properly. He taught me how to iron clothes properly, you know, like a professional, you know. And then when he says all this away, I will laugh. And he will say, oh yeah. I will say, Daddy, can you do more? He will not ask me, sit down. He will explain that away to me properly. And all those things I never forget. At that time, I forgot, but now it all keeps coming back to me. Now they have a club at that time called Mayegun. Mayegun. It's not an age group friend, but not all of them are of the same age. But they were all very. They are like they are the what do I call it now? They are the elite of the town at that time. So there are some younger fellows, there are older. My father belongs to the older members of that Mayegun society. So they rotate their meetings for, you know, in each houses. They rotate their meeting in the houses of each of their members. So whenever they have their meeting, my father would have told me like 2 weeks before. Olumide, meeting my wale chief Okutoyibo, aago méjì ní ọjọ́ Sunday 2 weeks time. Láti make sure pé gbogbo àlẹ́ àjọ máa lọ ní o. So we will go. At that time they ensure that all their first sons goes to meetings with them. And then when we are at the meeting, we will sit, they will create somewhere for us to sit. So all the younger sons, all the sons, we play together, but they ensure that we listen to what they are saying. So looking back, my father now, I said, that's the key to the reason. Why do you always want us to come to all these meetings? My father said, orò tán bá ti ń ṣe tán kì í mọ́mọdé lọ, orò yẹn ò ní pẹ́ kú. Pé any culture, any culture that you are doing, that you are celebrating, and you did not involve the children, the culture will die off. He will also say, ọmọdé ibi yìí ò tó ṣe, ibẹ̀ làgbà ibẹ̀ máa kú sí. Tẹ́ bá ní ọmọdé ni wọ́n pé wọn ní kò yé wọn, kò ní yé wọn. At the end of the day, when you all die off, the knowledge will die with you. I said, So they always make sure that they will follow them to all those meetings at that time, So, and I can go on and on. I can go, so many experiences. When he started his political career, I followed him. He ensured that as young as I was a teenager, I was in my late teenage years, I followed him in all the campaigns all over Ondo State. We were in Ondo State at that time. I followed him in all the campaigns, all the Ekiti towns, Ondo State towns, with Adekunle Ajashin, Awolowo, Senator Ofasanmi. All of us were going around campaigning, all the campaigns we did together. So I actually learned a lot in that era, when he was representing my OC Ekiti as the federal honorable in the Federal House of Representative in Lagos. At that time, it was in Lagos, So I learned a lot from him, a lot. We go to governor's house together. We go to the deputy governor's house. We go to Ayofasami's house, everywhere, And at that time, sometimes it could be like, young person, you want to go and play with your friends. You want to go and do your own thing. But you say, no, tó bá ti di ọ̀la, à ń lọ sí Àkúrẹ́, governor's house. Tó bá di ọ̀túnla, à ń lọ sí Ọ̀wọ̀ nílé kíníkan. You have to be around. I say, okay, thank you, sir. Sometimes I even drive him. Sometimes I drive him. When the driver is tired, but my uncle, Kẹ́hìndé Ọmọ́túyè, when he's tired, I drive at times, So I learned a lot. All those experiences prepared me. It prepared me to also want to serve my people. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Let's talk about your love life. Your wife was also crowned as the Mayegun yesterday. Let's talk about her. Who is your wife, Ganiat Adeyemi?
Thank you so much. I would say I'm one of the luckiest person around today, because I met not just a beautiful woman, but highly intelligent, quiet, unassuming, easygoing. She's a deep thinker. Never in a rush. Never in a hurry. Very loving, very dependable, very trustworthy, very reliable. I can go on and on. Without her support, this wouldn't be. I won't be here. So at some point in my life, when I was working in Owena Bank, when I was working in Owena Bank in Victoria Island, I was living in Ikorodu town at that time. There I met my wife, Mrs. Ganiat Modupe Ayokuleyin Sonny Adeyemi. So I met her around 1994, November 1994. So in Ikorodu town, and it was a big challenge when I met this young beautiful lady. So far in my career about a woman, she's the first lady that ever gave me what we call tough time. That's the word we use in Nigeria, tough time. So I met her in 1994. She never said yes until around 1996, 1997. It was really tough. I was angry. Several times I would be pissed off. I would be like, kí ló tẹ̀ ń ṣe gan, apá ẹ̀gán tẹ̀ ti pọ̀ jù gan. Kí tẹ̀ ní gan. I would say, no, I won't see her again. Come on, lọ jàre, kí tẹ̀ ní gan. you know. But then I will just find myself thinking about her again. I will just find myself thinking about her again. So it was on and off. I will get angry, you know, and I will have to be the one again to start looking for her all over the place. Back in those days, there was no mobile phone, no internet, no social media. So to get in touch is always very difficult. At that time, she was in college in Kaduna, in Zaria. So I will go and find out when in school, when their school will be on vacation. I will be finding information all around. That, you know, ìgbà wo ni ABU máa wà ní kíní kan, ìgbà wo náà máa wà lọ́lídé. I will be praying for sometimes for riot. You know, riot in those days, they will close down schools so that she can come back home, so I can see her. So I was actually forced. I devised a means to make friends with his younger brothers and people in her home. Okay, let me backstep a bit again. The day I met her, three of us were standing at a road junction. We were talking, and just I was the one facing the direction where she was coming from in Alison Street. So I saw this young lady catwalking. She was actually catwalking. I was like, how can? So I said, I the three guys that we stood together. I said, Omo wo ló ń catwalk boy. What it means is, who is this girl catwalking towards us? I was like, so the conversation that the three of us were having, I wasn't even engrossed anymore. My focus had shifted to this young lady, this beautiful lady coming, and she was coming to our direction. So all the other guys, they now turned, and one of them said, I know her now, Aburo Mini. I said, you know her? She was the one, I don't know. So she was walking towards us. I said, oh my God. She was just walking like that, you know, until she got to us, and she said, she greeted us. And then she now focused on that our friend. Bra Toyin, when she finished with her, and she said, okay, sir, whatever. And she said, I said, wait now, madam, wait now, you know, and that's where the chasing started from, you know. And you can't believe it, I left my friends. What I thought would just be, let me just walk this girl a little bit and go back to my friends. I left my friends completely, and I walked this girl all the way to Lower, they call the place Lower Estate in Ikorodu. I walked down all the way. And let me now tell you the funny part of it. While we were walking together and talking, you know, I was trying to loosen her up to, you know, to make her smile. She was smiling actually, but I was trying to, you know, when you are chasing, you know, you want to be the nice guy, you want to be like, hey, you want to make her laugh and all those things, you know, just to get her talking and things like that, you know. And she was very pleasant. She was very pleasant, but at the same time not encouraging me to, you know. So she was like, okay, yeah, you can keep talking. I'm not going to send you back, you know. That it is that kind of attitude, you know. So we're talking and going, you know, walking along the road. But you can't believe it. It was like it was her and myself alone. I did not see anybody else on that road. And it was a busy road. But I didn't see anybody else again. It was just like the two of us were the only one on that road. And it was a long road from Alison Junction all the way to Lower. And we kept talking. So I walked out to where she was going. And then we stopped again in front of their house. And okay, before we got to their house, she wouldn't allow me to know the house. But you know, men now, you know. Yes. I cajoled her. I said, no, I want you to be safe. I don't want you to, you know, this, you know. So reluctantly, so you don't want to go back. Okay, that, you know. So anyway, I got to know that house. So I said, yes, at least, you know. Anyway, that was the day one. That was where I got hooked, like getting hooked on the drug. From then on, I never forgot about her. I kept thinking about her. But it was very rough, like I said. Very, very, it was up and down. She never said yes. If I asked her to, where will you be at home? Blah, blah, blah. She wouldn't give me that encouragement, you know. So I got to know Haley house. So I devised a means. I made friends with her younger brother. In fact, as a matter of fact, there's a long story there. We won't finish if I start now. Our father is very popular in Korea. Our father is called Sake. He's a football enthusiast. He's one of the stationary source of Lagos football supporters, and he's very popular in Ikorodu, in the Sonny Gbadamosi family in Alison Street. So the man is very tough. He's a very tough man. Everybody, a very highly friendly man, but at the same time, very strict. He doesn't take nonsense. So people say, ọmọ Alhaji Sanni, ọmọ Sake lo, Sake o, ẹyin ojú Sake nìyẹn o, má lọ síbẹ̀ o. I say, ẹ má worry ẹyin boys, I will break the code. I will break the code, don't worry. So I managed to find the day I went to the house, I went with a friend of mine. That one stood back just in case they will cane him or something like that. So we knocked the door, and fortunately and unfortunately for us, it was Ake himself that opened the door. Daddy, I prostrated. The man he's a very tall man, very tall man, big, tall. And he looked at me. I said, Gani Muabere, sir. He looked at me. Gani, kò sí nílé, kò tí dé láti school wọ́n wà in session, kò tí dé láti school. Like he said, Daddy said, oh, Ganiat is not at home, that Ganiat is in college, that the school is still in session. But I see the look in his face that, you are so
Bold.
You are so bold. You are so confident. Have you not heard of me? You see that kind of impression. Did you not hear of me? Have you not heard about me? And you are so bold and confident, and And then years later, he said it. He said, he looked at me that day, strong, And the man and myself, we became good friends. He's my dad. He passed on nearly 5 years ago now. Yeah. May God rest his soul.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sir.
Yeah.
So what is your message for all the sons and daughters of OC Ekiti? So let's use that to wrap.
My message to everybody is, if you want our community to progress, we as citizens have to do our bit as well. It starts from being diligent and hardworking, being trustworthy, being honest, and being respectful. Respect one another. Respect your friends. Respect yourself as a person. Respect other people around you. Respect hierarchy. Respect authority. Be honest. Be diligent. And education is important. Education. Whatever you do, try to educate yourself. When you are educated, you'll be civilized. You'll be enlightened. So do not say, you will do, but you'll be, it's important. And do unto others what you want others to do unto you. Try to gain a skill. Try to gain a skill. Whatever you love, that you feel is your passion, go for it. Develop it. Develop your craft. And as much as possible, be loyal to your kingdom and to your country, Nigeria. It's very important. That's the only way we can move our community and Nigeria at large together to a greater height. Let us be good ambassadors everywhere we go. Remember that you are first an Ekiti man. If you are from OC now, for example, as I'm from OC, I'm first an OC man from OC Ekiti, from Ile, PF, Adeyemi. So I don't want to do things that they will now say, ṣé come on, dáadáa ni, ibo ló ti wá, ṣé ọmọ PF lélẹ́yìí, ó mà ṣe o. You know, things like that. You have to remember the son or the daughter of whom you are. Very important. If you remember at all times, it will always keep you in check to do good, to be civilized, to do what is right. It's very important. We should always remember where we come from. So if we remember where we come from, then we can know where we are going. It's important.